Hey guys, Short Midget here doing a quick video on a friend's AR-15. Now this is his first AR, his second 5.56 gun in total. Now this is a Palmetto State build. Now he did purchase it in two different pieces. So you know how Palmetto State has complete uppers, complete lowers, or you can piece the gun together. So he started off with the lower receiver, and then I think he bought the upper a couple of months later. Now the lower receiver in the United States is considered the firearm, so that is what you have to do the background check to pick up. So he did that, and then I actually helped him install the trigger for this. I sold him that, and then he basically pieced everything together. Let me just start from the back and go to the front. So on the back here, the PSA lower did come with a Magpul stock. I think this is considered the CTR. They have a couple different versions, but this, I believe, is the CTR. It's kind of their basic one. They have one that has like a lever on the bottom of it. I forget which model that is, but I mean, Magpul makes an absolute crap ton of parts. But I have one of these. I'm pretty sure it's considered the basic CTR, which is a good stock. Got a rubber pad on the back, and I think it's 6-position buffer tube. Is typically what ARs have. Metal buffer tube with 2 points that are staked. So my Palmetto States also have 2 different spots that are staked. I have 3 PSA lowers. All 3 of my ARs have PSA lowers, and every single one of them were staked twice. And I bought those years apart. So it's nice that they do that so that the buffer tube doesn't come loose. One of mine actually did come loose. It was the oldest. I've had it since 2018. So eventually that may come loose. I just loosened it up all the way, put Loctite on the threads, and then tighten it down with some pliers. Or you can use like an AR wrench. Will also work. Now moving forward, again, Palmetto State receiver. So you can see the logo on there is the cannons, and then there's a stack of cannonballs. That's their typical logo. It's actually on the upper as well. So that's what the lower has. And then it's the PA-15 as their model. They sell a couple different lowers. This is the PA-15. I think they have like a blank lower which doesn't say PA-15. Actually, it does say PA-15, but doesn't have the Palmetto State logo because I have one of those. So you can see that. Just basic controls in terms of magazine catch. Well, the selector switch is ambi. This is a Seekins, I think is the brand. I actually sold that to him with the trigger. So that is ambidextrous, and it is 45 degrees. So you can see both sides. You can adjust it. Clicks into place really nicely. The trigger is Timney. Now, I thought it was Rave. I actually thought I told him Rave when I first messaged him about it, but it's actually Timney. The Timneys are actually more expensive. It's a 3.5 pound. Gun is empty. So I will show you the trigger close up, but it's a really good trigger. Single stage, of course. I think those are about 140, 160 bucks for the Timneys. The Raves are typically 120, 100. Some of the Raves actually do get up into the 160s, even 180 for like their top tier version. Just different trigger angles, but they're all 3.5 pounds. Upper receiver is a complete upper receiver from Palmetto State. It is a FN 14.7 inch barrel with a pin and welded muzzle device. So this isn't 16 inches barrel, it's 16 overall to be legal to have a stock on it because US gun laws are absolute trash. But it reduces the length, which is cool. I have a 14.5, I just have a brace online. But I think 14.5s, 13.5s are like the perfect length for an AR in my opinion. Even 16 is not bad, but I don't really care for the 18, 20s. Just a bit too long for general purpose use, if you will. So it is, again, an FN barrel. It is chrome lined. It literally, I can see the FN marking right there. 1-in-7 twist, 5.56, with a standard birdcage flash hider. Now, I know I kind of got ahead of myself, but it is a complete upper, so I wanted to tell you exactly what upper it was. It is the complete with the FN barrel. Palmetto State upper, it's got the logo on the top, so it's their in-house upper. Just standard aluminum, just like the lower. The rail system is M-LOK. You can see it says made in the USA, and it's got the M-LOK logo. It's got QD slots on both sides. Now, he doesn't have a slot back here or anything like that. Some of the Magpul stocks, the like more expensive ones, do have a QD spot back here, but he doesn't have a sling, so that's really not a priority for him. The rail is aluminum and M-LOK. I want to say it's got to be 14 inches, 13 and a half. So it might be 13 and a half because the barrel's 14.7, and you can see it kind of pokes out just a little bit. the rail is in good shape. Of course, it was all brand new. Just a standard aluminum M-lock rail. We actually did Loctite the screws here because those did come loose. There's actually the small ones on the bottom. There are rail covers on here. These just clip into the M-lock slot. I'm actually not a fan of the ones that clip in on the key mods or the M-locks. I think one of these actually fell off, and that's the problem I've had. I used to get what the BCM key mod ones that clip into the receiver. One of my friends has a key mod on his, and he has like these little individual pieces, and they just fall out like all the time. You know, over time, recoil, or in your gun box, they just fall out. So I like the ones that actually bolt in, but to each their own. These are probably a bit cheaper, and these actually have more surface area. So the ones that bolt in are thinner, and so it doesn't cover your hand as much. So there's pros and cons to them, these being cheaper and more coverage for your hands to keep away from, you know, the hot rail. But the con is they can fall off. On the bottom here, we have a Magpul hand stop. Pretty comfortable. Of course, this being a rifle, you could put a vertical grip or an angle grip, but it just depends on what you like, and you can swap it out if you ever wants to try both. But the AFGs are nice because you can kind of pull it into your shoulder. Nice and comfortable to have one of those on there. Monolithic rail goes across the top, of course, just typical AR type stuff. I did skip over the bolt lock. It's just a basic one, nothing special, no bad lever. Now, onto the optic here, it is a Hollow Sun 3x magnifier and a Hollow Sun, what is it, it says HS43B. It's a 2 MOA. It's kind of a mouthful. You can see over here, if that'll focus, it actually shows the model. Now, Hollow Sun makes an absolute crap ton of different red dots. So you have to pick and choose. This one I think is just red. You can get green and maybe green and red. Some of them are a little bit more advanced. I think this one was 150, maybe upwards of $200 because it is tan. And that is kind of something I forgot to mention. It is two-tone. If you couldn't tell, shouldn't have to really say that. Tan stock, tan grip, and tan accessories. I did skip over the tan pistol grip and tan Magpul trigger guard. It is a 2 MOA. I didn't already say, and 3x magnifier, and we just got the magnifier installed. Now, we did sight in the red dot before, so adding the magnifier doesn't really adjust anything, but it should help us be able to see the target clearer. So this gun is going to be sighted in for roughly 300 yards. Typically for a gun like this, like if this was mine with a red dot, even with a little bit of magnification, I would set it up for about 200 yards, and then at 300, you have to aim kind of at the head to hit center mass. Now, with a magnified optic, I typically do like 300 yards straight on shot. See what I'm saying? But with this being more of a mid-range gun instead of a, you know, lots of magnification on there, I would say 200 straight on shot, and then 300, you aim at the head because it'll drop just a couple of inches. There is an aim surplus charging handle on here. It's got the extended latch. As you can see, I like that a lot. Just helps rack it. And then the bolt carrier is Toolcraft. Now, I sold this to him because I had purchased it. I ended up buying a blue PVD coated bolt carrier. So I think I sold this to him. It may have been 60 to 80 bucks, but that's typically what you can find these for. I had only put a couple hundred rounds through it, and it worked just fine. It is your basic mil-spec bolt carrier. Nothing really to say special about it. I believe it is a Carpenter 158 bolt carrier or bolt head. All right, so I went and grabbed a spare bolt carrier that I have just for reference. This is a 9310 bolt head. His is a Carpenter 158. The Carpenter 158 is considered mil-spec, so it's not bad in any way. It's just mil-spec. These are roughly 7% stronger. At least that's what the internet says. Not everything on the internet's true, but you know, there's some steels are stronger than others, and it appears that the 9310 is slightly stronger. Not that this will ever wear out. This may last a lifetime. You could probably get 10,000, probably 20,000 rounds out of that bolt carrier before you would see any issues. The buffer tube is standard. It is stock. There's no heavy buffer. It's just what the PSA came with. And the gas system on here looks like it is... So I'm just going to guess this is a carbine length gas system. I'm going to guess because my 14.5 inch is also a carbine length. I only have one. My 18 inch is a mid-length. I wish I would have gotten a rifle length for that, because the rifle length is the softer shooting, because it has more dwell time, because your gas tube is longer, so it's going to be a little bit softer shooting, slightly less recoil, but of course reliability cannot be so good on a longer gas system with lower power ammo. So to make it nice and simple, this gun will run steel case. It'll run lower powered ammunition, but if you were to throw steel case in like an M16 with a 20-inch barrel, it may not cycle unless you have a really light buffer or maybe a light bolt carrier, because it's underpowered with a longer gas system. So these are, the mid-length and carbine can run anything reliably. In terms of the ammunition that my friend uses, it is the PMC X-Tac. It is 62 grain green tip. This stuff is everywhere. You can buy it everywhere. Since it's a 1-in-7 twist, chrome-lined barrel, 62 grain is a good weight. He could shoot 75, 77, anything out of this. Even 55 would do okay, but 62 is kind of right in between. And plus, this stuff's like $8 a box. It's pretty cheap, 40 cents a round, 45 if shipping and tax and everything, but pretty good price for good ammo. In terms of velocity, it says 2920 on the box. That's out of a 20-inch estimation. Out of this, I'm gonna estimate 27 to 28. I've seen plenty of velocity tests on this ammo, and people were getting like high 28s, 29 out of 16. Do the math, it's a little bit shorter. Probably high 27s, if not low 28s. So 27 to 28 is a fair estimate on the muzzle velocity on this rifle. We will be shooting at 100 yards, 200, and out to 300 with this gun. So look forward to that. Thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one.